Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. It is with slight sadness that we address what has just happened with Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5. So, if you don't know, you might have seen this video here that I filmed. It is the launch of Fable 5, which I was very excited to announce. You can see it here. You can go back and watch it if you want, because I'm pretty sure it will come back, or at least I hope it will come back. But yeah, breaking news just in. So the most powerful AI ever built got banned in 72 hours. So let's talk about why it got banned, the biggest lesson we can take from it, and what's next for you to maximize Claude. If you don't know who I am, my name's Chris Bradley. I own the MRR agency and Claude with Chris. And I install AI into businesses. We've got over 80 clients. We've installed AI into AI infrastructure, from sales to time back to all that good stuff. If you want more info, the link's in the description. But let's get stuck into this right now. So the US government just suspended Anthropic's two most powerful models. So Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5. If you want to know the capabilities of them, which I'm sure they'll come back, then of course go back and watch my previous video. But they've basically done it for every foreign national on the planet. So the White House, or at least the government, have come in and said, get that off. It is only available to us. Clearly for security reasons, which I'll get into. So 3 days after launch, no warning. I'm in the UK. I built my business on Claude, lost access overnight, and here's the full story that you don't know. Before I go into that, I've already got a project that's been fully scoped out and half built by Fable 5, and it's incredible, unbelievable. And now obviously I can tag Opus in, and that will take over. But it's hard in it because like AI is. I like to think of AI as it's only as good as the imagination of the person using it. And even when you then use something like Fable 5, you're like, wow, I never even thought of this. It just goes rogue, but in such a good way. Anyway, you can tell I'm a bit upset that it's been removed from the UK. So it was up for 3 days from public launch to total shutdown, 5:21 p.m. Eastern Time when the directive landed Friday 12th of June. Everyone, both models pulled for all customers worldwide. So, a government order overnight. Anthropic launched Fable 5 and Mythos earlier that week, the most capable models they'd ever built. 3 days later, a US export control directive landed. So the order was simple: cut off access for any foreign national anywhere, including Anthropic's own foreign staff. Think of that for a minute. Complying with that meant one thing: they had to pull both models for every customer on Earth. Earlier that week, Anthropic had launched Fable 5, as I says. Friday the 12th of June, the US government export control directive arrives. No detailed reason given, really. The same evening, Anthropic disables both models for all customers globally to comply. Claude's page reads, Fable 5 is temporarily unavailable. Now, Opus 4.8 and every other model still work. Fable and Mythos are gone with no timeline on the return. Of course, you want to see these sources. Anthropic statement, Time Magazine, CNBC, Time News, NBC News, Fortune, Al Jazeera, all that stuff. So, what these models could actually do, this wasn't a small update. Anthropic put Fable 5 and Mythos in a new tier called Mythos Class, sitting above the old Opus top of the range. The capability is exactly why the government got nervous. So within 36 hours, it got near GPT 5.5's 4-day result on frontier physics, using a third of the reasoning. So using a third of the reasoning, it got close to GPT 5.5's 4-day result on the frontier of physics. Decades. Mythos finds software flaws that sat undiscovered for decades. Best ever. So this is Anthropic's highest scoring model on their end-to-end app building benchmark. So Mythos is so good at spotting vulnerabilities that the US authorities and selected firms were already using it to plug security gaps. That dual use power, brilliant for defenders, dangerous in the wrong hands, is the whole story. Like, if something's so good at finding flaws and security gaps, then of course, if you look at the opposite of that, how can it then go and be misused by people? So there's a bit of a disagreement happening. The jailbreak claim, both sides. The government stated reason was a jailbreak, a way to bypass Fable's safeguards. Anthropic doesn't deny it exists. They just argued it's nowhere near enough to justify pulling a model used by hundreds of millions. So the government thinks it's national security. A method exists to jailbreak Fable 5 and unlock Mythos level cyber capability. which of course is a national security risk, and is suspend access for all foreign users. Anthropic, it's narrow and non-universal. Point the model at codebase, ask it to fit flaws, the same capability as in other public models, including GPT 5.5. So Anthropic's sharpest line is, if this standard were applied across the industry, it would essentially halt all new model developments for all frontier model providers. So they've kind of come out swinging and says, well, look, if you use this same logic, we're not going to get any further with AI development, basically. So what it meant for us and you, if you build on Claude, then read this. Here's the real lesson, and it's bigger than one model. A tool that you depend on can vanish overnight by an order nobody saw coming. Not a price change, not a depreciation notice. Gone in an evening. So the good news first, if you're on Opus 4.8 or any other Claude model, you're completely unaffected. Only Fable and Mythos were pulled, so this isn't a Claude problem, it's a single point of failure problem. So here's your options. Of course, if you were on Fable and started to utilize it like I did, then drop back to 4.0. You have no choice, but drop to 4.8 and try and transfer what you were doing over to that. Make sure 4.8 can understand if you're in the middle of a build. Number 2, build so no single model is load bearing. Write your prompts and systems to swap models within one setting, not a rebuild. The businesses that shrugged this off had the flexibility baked in. Keep a second provider warmed up, so you don't have to use it daily. You just need to need a tested fallback, so a directive, an outage, or a price hike is an inconvenience, not a crisis. So listen, I've got a school group here full of amazing content, stuff that you won't get on YouTube. Claude with Chris, but listen, I am not biased towards any platform. Like, I love Claude, I think it's the best. But if something else came along, you will know that I will change the name of this school group. Trust me. I am not biased or sensitive towards AI tools. Well, they're there to help us make more money and save time effectively. So don't panic. Migrate off Claude entirely. Claude's still the best. The rest of the lineup is untouched and excellent. Opus is still amazing. It's just a shame that we've got a glimmer into how good it could actually be. So build on systems, not a single model. So this whole point of building proper infrastructure instead of duct taping yourself to one tool. The work I do is about systems that outlast any single model, because the model underneath will always change. Anyone whose entire business lives inside Fable had a hard 24 hours. Anyone who builds for resistance barely even noticed. So if you want infrastructure that actually survives things like this, setting up your Claude, setting up your business in a way that you need to not be overly reliant on these AI tools. I help businesses build AI systems that don't fall over when one model disappears. You can join Claude with Chris. There's a link in the description. It's $47 a month. You can cancel anytime. You can come in here and get all the juicy sauce that you don't quite get elsewhere. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.